The galaxy was a peaceful place. For 3,000 years, 5 great empires had ruled the stars without major wars. Each empire was different, and each was very good at one type of fighting. The HFY looked like living crystals. They were tall and sharp with bodies that glowed with inner light. Their ships carried plasma weapons that could melt through anything. When they fired their cannons, streams of pure energy would burn holes through planets. No armor could stop them. The Vreks were like giant insects. They lived in huge swarms and created weapons from living things. Their bioguns shot creatures that could eat through metal and adapt to any defense. If you built a shield to stop one Vrek's weapon, they would grow a new creature that could break through it. The Etherians had no solid bodies at all. They were made of gas and energy, floating like clouds of intelligent mist. They controlled gravity itself. Their ships could create black holes that crushed enemy vessels into nothing. They could make gravity so heavy that it would flatten an entire city. The Soros Empire was ruled by large reptiles who walked on 2 legs. They had perfected shields that could bounce away any attack. Their force fields were so strong that they could stop meteors, missiles, and energy beams. Nothing could hit their ships. The Aquari lived in water and looked like giant fish with arms and legs. They built quantum weapons that could pass through solid matter like it was not there. Their torpedoes would appear inside enemy ships and explode from within. There was no way to block them. These 5 empires had learned to work together. They formed the Galactic Concordat, a peace treaty that kept wars from happening. Each empire stayed in its own part of space. When smaller species appeared, the empires would offer them a choice: join as a protectorate or be destroyed. Being a protectorate was not a good deal. The new species had to give up all their weapons. They had to let empire ships guard their planets. They had to give away almost half of everything they made. But it was better than dying. Most species said yes right away. Then humanity showed up. The first human ships were ugly and slow. They used fusion engines that left bright trails across space. Their hulls were made of simple metal and ceramic. They looked like flying boxes compared to the smooth, advanced ships of the empires. A HFY patrol found the humans near the edge of their territory. The human ships were exploring a star system, taking pictures and collecting samples. When the crystal beings made contact, the humans seemed excited to meet them. "We are representatives of the human species," said Captain Maria Santos, speaking from the bridge of the exploration ship Magellan. "We come in peace and hope to learn about the galaxy." The HFY commander, a tall crystal being named Veltar, was amused. These creatures were so primitive that they still used radio waves to communicate. Their ships had no shields, no plasma weapons, no quantum drives. They were like children playing with toys. "You have entered HFY space," Veltar announced. "By galactic law, you must submit to protectorate status or face immediate destruction." Captain Santos looked confused. "Protectorate status? What does that mean?" Veltar explained the rules. Humans would have to surrender all military technology. Empire ships would be stationed in every human system. 40% of all human production would go to the empires as tribute. In return, humanity would be protected and allowed to exist. "That seems like slavery with extra steps," Santos said after a long pause. "It is survival," Veltar replied. "The alternative is extinction." The human captain asked for time to discuss this with her government. She wanted to send the offer back to Earth for consideration. Veltar agreed to wait. After all, what could these primitives do? The Galactic Concordat met to discuss the humans. All 5 empires sent representatives to the great space station at the galaxy's center. They sat around a massive table made of pure energy, each in their own environment suits. "They are completely harmless," reported General Thexfor of the Soros Empire. "Their weapons use chemical explosives. They fire solid metal bullets. They have laser weapons that could barely cut through civilian cargo containers." The Vrek's queen mind buzzed with laughter. "Our smallest bioforms could eat through their ships in minutes. Their technology is thousands of years behind ours," added Etherian cloud speaker Zephyr. "They do not even understand basic physics." Admiral Depthsinger of the Aquari agreed. "They pose no threat to anyone." The HFY High Crystal, Veltar's superior, made the final decision. "We will give them the standard grace period, 6 of their months to consider our offer. If they refuse, we will demonstrate why the Galactic Concordat has kept peace for so long." But the humans made an unusual request. They wanted detailed information about galactic military technology. They claimed they needed to understand their place in the cosmic order. They wanted to know how Empire weapons worked, what materials were used, and how defenses operated. The empires found this hilarious. The primitives wanted to study advanced technology? They would never understand it. But sharing the information would show them how hopeless resistance would be. So they gave humanity everything. Complete technical manuals for plasma cannons, bioweapons, gravity manipulators, kinetic shields, and quantum torpedoes. Detailed specifications for empire ships, space stations, and defensive systems. Star charts showing the location of every military base in the local region. The empires thought they were being generous. They were actually making the biggest mistake in galactic history. While diplomats talked and politicians argued, something else was happening in human space. Scientists and engineers were working day and night in secret laboratories on dozens of worlds. They studied the Empire technology with intense focus, but they were not trying to copy it. Dr. Sarah Chen worked in a hidden laboratory on Luna, Earth's moon. She was humanity's top expert on electromagnetic physics. She had spent weeks studying the technical specifications for Saros kinetic shields. "Interesting," she said to her assistant, Dr. James Park. "These shields work by using magnetic fields to push away incoming objects. They can deflect anything with mass. That makes them basically invincible," Park replied. "No projectile can get through," Chen smiled. "No projectile moving at normal speeds. But what if we could make a projectile move much, much faster?" She pulled up information about humanity's oldest weapons: chemical guns that fired metal bullets, electromagnetic railguns that used magnets to accelerate projectiles, nuclear weapons that could destroy cities. "The empires think our technology is primitive," Chen said. "They are right. But sometimes primitive ideas, when made big enough, become something new entirely." She began working on calculations. If humanity could build a railgun large enough, powerful enough, it could fire projectiles at incredible speeds. Not just fast, nearly as fast as light itself. At those speeds, the laws of physics would change. The projectile would become more than just a chunk of metal. It would become something that could not be stopped. Chen sent her ideas to other human scientists across the galaxy. They began working together on the most ambitious project humanity had ever attempted. The empires continued to wait patiently for humanity's answer. They had no idea that their gift of technical information had doomed them all. 6 months was plenty of time for humans to build something the galaxy had never seen before, something that would change everything. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in front of a massive holographic display showing the inner solar system. Dozens of asteroids glowed with tiny lights, marking where human workers were building something in secret. The project was so large that it required resources from across human space. "Status report," Chen said to the room full of engineers and scientists. Dr. James Park stepped forward. "Construction is on schedule. The main acceleration tunnel is 80% complete. We should have full assembly finished in 2 months. "Power systems?" Chen asked. 3 fusion reactors are online and feeding into the superconducting coil network," reported engineer Lisa Wong. "We are getting the magnetic field strength we need." Chen nodded. The project was called Ragnarok, named after an ancient Earth myth about the end of the world. It seemed fitting for a weapon that might end the old galactic order. The weapon was hidden inside what looked like a normal asteroid mining operation in the belt between Mars and Jupiter. Human mining ships came and went every day, carrying metal and ice. But they were also carrying something else: components for the largest railgun ever built. The acceleration tunnel was 500 kilometers long. It ran through the hollowed-out cores of 6 large asteroids, connected by enclosed tubes. Inside, the tunnel magnetic coils would accelerate a projectile from 0 to 15% of light speed in less than 4 seconds. The projectile itself was a work of art. 10 tons of tungsten carbide formed into a perfect dart shape. The metal was the hardest substance humans could make, designed to hold together even under the incredible forces of near-light-speed travel. Chen had spent months calculating exactly what would happen when the weapon fired. The numbers were almost too large to believe. "Sir," Dr. Park said quietly, "are we sure about this? The energy release will be visible from other star systems." "That is the point," Chen replied. "We want them to see it. We want them to understand that everything has changed." But humanity was not building just one railgun. Across human space, 11 other installations were taking shape. Some were built into moons. Others were constructed in deep space, hidden among debris fields and gas clouds. Each one was aimed at a different part of the local galaxy. The aliens had no idea what was happening. Their spy ships watched human activity with bored interest. The primitives were building mining equipment and industrial facilities. Nothing threatening. Commander Veltar of the HFY received weekly reports from the observation teams. The humans continue their industrial activities, his aide reported. They are extracting materials from asteroids and constructing what appear to be manufacturing facilities. Any military preparations? Veltar asked. None detected. They are building with the same primitive technology we have already catalogued. Chemical rockets, fusion power, simple electromagnets. Veltar dismissed the report. Humans were like children playing with blocks, while adults built towers around them. Let them have their toys. The other empires were equally unconcerned. The Vrex noted increased metal production but saw no bioweapons development. The Etherians detected gravitational anomalies from human industrial activity, but nothing that suggested weapons research. The Saros Empire observed electromagnetic activity, but recognized it as simple power generation. The Aquari found no quantum signatures that would indicate advanced technology. None of them understood what humans were really building. On Earth, Admiral Keiko Tanaka stood in the war room deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Wall-sized screens showed the status of all 12 Ragnarok installations. Red lights marked systems still under construction. Green lights showed completed weapons ready to fire. "Ma'am," reported Colonel Martinez, "Ragnarok 1 is ready for initial testing. All other installations report they will be ready within 2 weeks." Admiral Tanaka studied the tactical display. 12 weapons, each capable of striking targets hundreds of light years away. The projectiles would travel so fast that even if the aliens detected them, there would be no time to react. "Have you selected the test target?" Tanaka asked. "Yes, ma'am. An abandoned mining platform in the outer system. We have positioned it so that alien observation ships can see the results clearly." Tanaka smiled grimly. "Make sure they get a good view." The testing was scheduled for exactly 6 months after first contact with the HFY. Humanity's grace period would officially end in 1 week. The aliens expected an answer to their ultimatum. They would get one, but not the kind they were expecting. Dr. Chen made final preparations at Ragnarok 1. The weapon was beautiful in its simplicity. No exotic matter, no impossible physics, no technologies that humanity had not mastered centuries ago. Just magnetism and electricity scaled up to planetary proportions. "All systems show green," reported the control team. "Fusion reactors at full power, magnetic coils charging, projectile loaded and secured." Chen activated her communication link to Admiral Tanaka on Earth. "Ragnarok 1 ready for test firing." "Understood, Doctor. You are authorized to proceed when ready." Chen looked around the control room. 50 of humanity's best scientists and engineers watched their screens with nervous excitement. They were about to change the course of galactic history. "Begin final countdown," Chen ordered. Across the asteroid belt, alien observation ships moved into position. They wanted to see what primitive human weapons could do. Several Empire commanders had made bets on how badly the test would fail. General Thexvor of the Saros Empire positioned his heavy cruiser Ironhide directly behind the target asteroid. His ship's shields could stop anything humans might fire. He wanted to demonstrate that Empire defenses could not be overcome by primitive kinetics. "Humans are about to embarrass themselves," Thexvor told his crew. "Let us give them a close look at real military technology." The countdown reached its final seconds. In the control room of Ragnarok 1, Dr. Chen placed her hand on the firing control. 10, 9, 8. The computer counted. Across the galaxy, Empire observers waited to see humanity's failure. 3, 2, 1. Fire. Chen pressed the button. The weapon fired. For a brief moment, the Ragnarok installation became brighter than the sun. Energy equal to the output of a small star discharged through the magnetic coils. The tungsten projectile accelerated down the 500-kilometer tunnel in 3.7 seconds. emerging at 15.2% light speed. The projectile hit the target asteroid and the Saros cruiser behind it in the same instant. Both simply ceased to exist. There was no explosion, no debris field, no wreckage. The matter that had been there was converted to energy and scattered across space as radiation. But the real shock came from the sensors. Every empire had detection networks that monitored space for faster-than-light travel and gravitational anomalies. The Railgun projectile, moving at relativistic speeds, created a gravitational wave that traveled faster than light through subspace. In less than 3 seconds, every military installation within 50 light-years detected the impossible energy signature. Alarms began sounding on empire worlds that had not heard warnings in 1,000 years. On the Etherian homeworld, Cloudspeaker, Zephyr stared at readings that could not be real. The gravitational distortion is off our scale, the being reported to the High Council. Nothing in our database matches this signature. The Virex Queen Mind felt confusion for the first time in her long life. Her biosensors could not classify what had just happened. The energy release exceeds our most powerful weapons by factors we cannot calculate. Across the galaxy, the 5 great empires realized they were no longer looking at primitive humans playing with toys. They were looking at a species that had just demonstrated the ability to weaponize physics itself, and humanity was just getting started. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Concordat took place on Nexus Prime, a massive space station positioned at the center of the galaxy. For 3,000 years, this had been the place where the 5 great empires met to discuss peace. Today, they met to discuss fear. The station's main chamber was enormous, designed to accommodate representatives from all 5 empires. Each delegation sat in their own environmental zone. The Zephi glowed behind crystalline barriers. The Vrex buzzed in their hive alcove. The Etherians floated in gaseous clouds. The Saros delegation sat on heated stone platforms. The Aquari swam in pressurized water tanks. In the center of the chamber, holographic displays showed the readings from humanity's weapon test. The numbers were impossible to ignore. High Crystal Zarthek of the Zephi spoke first. His voice resonated through translation crystals placed around the chamber. We have lost contact with the observation cruiser Ironhide. General Thexvor and his entire crew are presumed dead. The Saros delegation stirred uncomfortably. The Ironhide had been one of their most advanced ships, equipped with the finest kinetic shields in the galaxy. It should have been completely safe from any projectile weapon. What exactly happened? Asked Admiral Depthsinger of the Aquari. Zarthek activated the holographic display. Our sensors recorded the following sequence of events. At 1347 Galactic Standard Time, humans fired a projectile weapon of unknown design. The projectile achieved 15.2% of light speed. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Even the advanced races had never built anything that could move so fast. The projectile struck both the target asteroid and the Ironhide simultaneously. Both objects were completely destroyed. No debris was recovered. Analysis suggests the kinetic energy release was equivalent to... Zarthek paused, checking his readings again. Equivalent to a stellar-class plasma burst. The chamber fell silent. Stellar-class weapons were theoretical. No empire had ever built anything that powerful. Cloudspeaker Zephyr of the Etherians drifted forward. The gaseous being's voice came through environmental speakers. Our gravitational sensors detected the weapon's discharge across 50 light-years of space. The subspace distortion was unprecedented. How is this possible? Demanded General Rexkar of the Saros Empire. Their technology is primitive. We gave them our technical specifications. They use simple electromagnets and chemical fuels. Dr. Velshan, the Zephi's chief scientist, projected new data into the chamber. We have analyzed their weapon based on sensor readings. It appears to be a magnetic acceleration device of extreme proportions. The acceleration tunnel is approximately 500 kilometers long. 500 kilometers. Queen Mind Zarvex of the Vrex showed her surprise through rapid wing beats. That is larger than our biggest bioships. The energy required to accelerate mass to such velocities would exceed our most advanced fusion reactors, Velshan continued. Yet somehow they have achieved it. Admiral Depthsinger studied the tactical implications. At those velocities, the projectile becomes more than a weapon. It becomes a physics event. Normal defenses are useless. General Rexkar slammed his clawed fist on the stone platform. Impossible. Our kinetic shields can deflect any projectile. The laws of physics do not change just because something moves fast. Actually, they do, Dr. Velshan said quietly. At relativistic speeds, mass increases exponentially. A 10-ton projectile at 15% light speed has an effective mass of nearly 12 tons. The kinetic energy is... The scientist paused, running calculations. The kinetic energy is approximately equal to our largest antimatter warheads. The revelation struck the chamber like a physical blow. Antimatter weapons were banned under galactic law because they were too destructive. Humans had somehow built kinetic weapons with the same power. There is more, Zarthek announced. We have received a communication from the humans. The chamber's main display activated, showing Admiral Keiko Tanaka of the Earth Defense Consortium. She sat in what appeared to be a military command center, wearing a simple uniform that looked primitive compared to Empire technology. Greetings to the Galactic Concordat, Admiral Tanaka said in clear, measured tones. We have completed our evaluation of your generous protectorate offer. After careful consideration, we must respectfully decline. Murmurs of shock rippled through the chamber. No species had ever refused protectorate status and survived. We understand that this decision may cause concern, Tanaka continued. To address any misunderstandings, we have prepared detailed information about our defensive capabilities. The display changed to show a star map of the local galaxy. Red dots appeared, marking the locations of Empire military installations. The accuracy was terrifying. Humans had somehow located every secret base, hidden shipyard, and classified research facility within 100 light years. We have calculated precise targeting solutions for 847 strategic targets, Tanaka announced. Our weapons are currently aimed at these locations and can fire at any time. Numbers appeared next to each red dot, showing distance, travel time, and projected impact energy. The calculations were perfect, accounting for orbital mechanics, stellar drift, and gravitational effects. We hope that our peaceful intentions are clear, Tanaka said. We wish to exist as equals among the galactic community, not as subjects or conquerors. However, any attempt to enforce previous demands will be met with appropriate defensive measures. The transmission ended, leaving the chamber in stunned silence. Cloud speaker Zephyr was the first to speak. They have mapped our entire military infrastructure. Our most classified installations are included in their targeting data. How did they get this information? Demanded General Rexkar. High Crystal Zarthek answered reluctantly. We gave it to them. The technical specifications we shared included defensive layouts, base locations, and operational details. We thought the information would be useless to primitives. Queen Mind Zarvex buzzed with agitation. They used our own intelligence against us. This shows planning and strategic thinking far beyond what we anticipated. Admiral Depthsinger activated his own analysis display. Their weapon positions are strategically perfect. They can strike any Empire target while remaining outside our effective response range, and at those projectile velocities we would have no warning. The weapon's fire would arrive before our sensors could detect the launch. The implications were staggering. For 3,000 years, the Galactic Concordat had maintained peace through balanced power. Each empire had weapons that others could not easily counter, creating a stable equilibrium. Humans had shattered that balance with a single weapon test. Dr. Velshan provided the final, crushing analysis. Based on their demonstrated capabilities, humans could destroy our entire military infrastructure within hours. Their weapons cannot be intercepted, cannot be blocked, and cannot be detected until after impact. Then we must strike first, General Rexkar declared. Mobilize all forces and attack human space before they can fire again. With what? Cloud Speaker Zephyr asked. Their weapons outrange ours by factors of hundreds. They could destroy our attack fleets before we crossed half the distance to their territory. The chamber fell silent again as the reality sank in. The 5 great empires, masters of the galaxy for millennia, were helpless against a species they had dismissed as primitive only days before. High Crystal Zarthek made the decision that would reshape galactic civilization. Send diplomatic communications to the humans. All empires will offer separate peace negotiations. You mean surrender, General Rexkar said bitterly. I mean survival, Zarthek replied. The alternative is extinction. Across the galaxy, 5 separate messages went out to human space. Each empire offered trade agreements, technology sharing, and mutual defense pacts. They were no longer trying to conquer humanity. They were trying to avoid being conquered themselves. Admiral Tanaka received all 5 offers within an hour. She smiled as she read them, knowing that humanity had just achieved something unprecedented in galactic history. They had won a war without fighting it. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the Earth Defense Council in the secure chamber beneath Geneva. Around the massive table sat representatives from every human world, colony, and space station. The holographic displays showed the 5 separate peace offers from the galactic empires. They are all essentially the same, Chen reported to the council. Each empire wants to give us their technology in exchange for a promise that we will not attack them. Admiral Tanaka leaned forward in her chair. Break it down for us, Doctor. What exactly are they offering? Chen activated the first display. The HFY are offering complete technical specifications for their plasma weapons, energy shields, and crystal computing systems. They want to share their power generation technology with us. That would make our railguns even more powerful, noted General Martinez. Better power sources mean faster projectiles. Exactly, Chen agreed. The Vrex are offering biotechnology that could enhance our targeting systems, living computers that can adapt and learn from each shot. She switched to the next display. The Etherians want to share their gravitational manipulation technology. They think it could help us guide our projectiles with perfect accuracy across galactic distances. The Saros Empire is offering metallurgy advances, Chen continued. Stronger materials for our projectiles, better containment systems for our reactors. They want to help us build railguns that could survive firing at even higher velocities. And the Aquari? Asked Admiral Tanaka. Quantum technology. Phase-shifting guidance systems that could make our projectiles appear inside enemy ships. They are essentially offering to help us build unstoppable weapons. The council chamber buzzed with quiet conversations. Council President Elena Vasquez called for order. Let me understand this correctly. Each empire is offering to help us build better weapons to kill them with. That appears to be the case, Chen confirmed. They are hoping that if they make us powerful enough, we will not need to use that power. The logic was sound but terrifying. The empires had realized that they could not match human weapons, so they were trying to make human weapons so overwhelmingly superior that conflict would become impossible. Admiral Tanaka stood to address the council. We have a choice to make. We can accept one empire's offer and ally with them against the others. We can accept all offers and become the galaxy's dominant military power, or we can chart a different course entirely. She activated a new holographic display showing the current galactic political structure. For 3,000 years, peace has been maintained through balance. Each empire had weapons the others could not easily counter. This created stability. The display changed to show humanity's position. We have destroyed that balance. Our weapons are so superior that the old system cannot function. We need a new approach. Dr. Chen stepped forward. I have been working on a proposal with the Strategic Planning Division. We call it the New Concordat. The holographic display showed a different political structure. Instead of 5 equal empires, it showed humanity at the center with the other races arranged around them. Instead of accepting any single empire's offer, we propose something unprecedented, Chen explained. A galactic alliance based not on balance of power, but on absolute deterrence. President Vasquez studied the display. Explain how this would work. Humanity becomes the galaxy's ultimate peacekeeping force, Chen said. We maintain weapons capable of destroying any empire that threatens galactic peace. In exchange, all empires contribute their specialized knowledge to a joint research initiative. Admiral Tanaka took over the presentation. Each empire gets to keep their territory and government. But all military conflicts between empires become impossible, because we would intervene with overwhelming force. That makes us the galaxy's police force, observed General Martinez. More than that, Chen replied. It makes us the galaxy's ultimate authority. The threat of relativistic bombardment would prevent not just wars, but the conditions that lead to wars. The proposal was ambitious beyond anything humanity had attempted. They would essentially be offering to rule the galaxy through the threat of total destruction. What about the technical collaboration? Asked Dr. Rebecca Singh, the chief science advisor. Chen smiled. That is the beautiful part. Each empire contributes their best technology to human-led research projects. We advance together but under human direction. The galaxy becomes stronger, but humanity remains in control. The council debated for hours. Some members worried about the ethical implications of ruling through fear. Others questioned whether humanity was ready for such responsibility. President Vasquez called for a final vote. All in favor of the new Concordat proposal? The result was unanimous. Humanity would not just defend itself from the galactic empires, it would replace them. The message went out to all 5 empires simultaneously. Admiral Tanaka delivered it personally from the bridge of humanity's first dreadnought, a massive warship built around a railgun system. To the leaders of the Galactic Concordat, she began, we have received your generous offers of alliance and cooperation. After careful consideration, we propose a different arrangement. The transmission was broadcast to every empire capital simultaneously. On Zephi Prime, crystal beings gathered around energy screens. In Vrex hive cities, millions of insectoid minds focused on the message. Etherian gas clouds swirled with anticipation. Soros commanders stood at attention in their war rooms. Aquari schools circled their underwater broadcast centers. We propose the formation of a new Concordat, Admiral Tanaka announced. A galactic alliance based on shared prosperity and absolute peace. The terms were simple but revolutionary. All Empire military forces would be reduced to local defense levels. No empire could maintain weapons capable of interstellar warfare. Disputes between empires would be resolved through human mediation. In exchange, humanity would serve as the galaxy's defense force, protecting all members from external threats and preventing internal conflicts. Each empire would contribute their specialized knowledge to joint research projects that would advance galactic civilization. This is not conquest, Admiral Tanaka explained. This is evolution. The old system of balanced hostilities has become obsolete. We offer a new system based on cooperative advancement under protective authority. The stick behind the carrot was clear but unspoken. Humanity now possessed weapons that could destroy any empire that refused to cooperate. High Crystal Zarthek was the first to respond. The Zephi Empire accepts the terms of the new Concordat. We offer our plasma technology and energy expertise to the Galactic Alliance. Queen Mind Zarvex of the Vrex followed quickly. The swarm sees wisdom in unity. We contribute our biosciences to the common good. Cloud Speaker Zephyr's response came in gravitational waves that translated as acceptance. The Etherian Collective joins the new Concordat. Our gravitational knowledge serves all. Admiral Depthsinger's message arrived from the deep oceans of Aquari Prime. The Aquari Imperium swims with the current of change. Our quantum sciences are offered freely. Only General Rexkar of the Saros Empire hesitated. The Saros Empire requires time to consider these terms. Admiral Tanaka's response was immediate and terrifying in its simplicity. You have one galactic standard day. After that, we will consider non-participation as a hostile act requiring defensive measures. The threat needed no elaboration. Everyone knew what human defensive measures looked like. General Rexkar's acceptance came 18 hours later. Within a month, the old Galactic Concordat had dissolved itself. The new Concordat was formed with humanity as its protective authority and ultimate arbitrator. Construction began immediately on Ragnarok Prime, a weapons installation the size of a small moon. Unlike the hidden railguns of the first generation, Ragnarok Prime was built in open space where every empire could see it. The message was clear. Humanity's power was no longer secret, and their willingness to use it was absolute. The galaxy had learned a fundamental lesson about human nature. When humans decided to solve a problem, they did not just build a solution. They built a solution so completely effective that the problem ceased to exist. Peace through superior firepower was not just a human military doctrine. It had become the organizing principle of galactic civilization. 5 years after humanity fired its first railgun, Admiral Keiko Tanaka stood on the observation deck of the Prometheus station. Through the massive transparent aluminum windows, she could see the construction of Ragnarok Prime. The weapon was enormous, dwarfing even the largest Empire ships that floated nearby. The railgun installation stretched for thousands of kilometers, its acceleration tunnel running through the heart of an artificial moon. Fusion reactors dotted its surface like glowing cities. Magnetic coil assemblies created geometric patterns that were beautiful and terrifying. But what amazed Tanaka most was not the weapon itself. It was the ships surrounding it. Zephi crystal vessels worked alongside human construction craft. their plasma cutting tools shaping metal with perfect precision. Frex bioships contributed living computers that could calculate firing solutions across galactic distances. Etherian gas clouds manipulated gravity fields to position massive components with delicate care. Soros engineering barges carried armor plating made from materials stronger than anything humanity had previously imagined. Aquari quantum ships phased components into perfect alignment inside the weapon's core. "Ma'am," reported Commander Lisa Wong, who had been promoted to serve as Tanaka's aide. "The weekly status meeting is ready to begin." Tanaka made her way to the conference room where representatives from all 5 empires waited. The sight still surprised her sometimes. Beings who had been enemies for millennia now worked together on projects that would have been impossible for any single species. High crystal Zarthek shimmered as he spoke. "Plasma generation efficiency has improved by 12% this week. Our new crystal matrix design channels energy with minimal loss." Queen Mind Zarvex buzzed with satisfaction. "Bio-neural targeting systems are adapting faster than predicted. Our living computers learn from each simulation, improving accuracy continuously." Cloud speaker Zephyr drifted closer to the conference table. "Gravitational manipulation arrays are complete. We can now adjust projectile trajectories during flight with precision measured in atomic distances." General Rexcar, who had become surprisingly cooperative once he understood the new reality, presented his report. "Projectile materials testing is ahead of schedule. The new tungsten carbide alloys can maintain structural integrity at 18% of light speed." Admiral Depth Singer's holographic projection flickered as he spoke from his underwater command center. "Quantum phase shift technology is ready for integration. Our projectiles can now appear inside target vessels without passing through intervening matter." Tanaka studied the combined technical reports. "Estimated completion date for Ragnarok Prime? 6 months. Replied Dr. Chen, who had been promoted to Director of Galactic Defense Technologies. "The weapon will be capable of striking any target in the galaxy with perfect accuracy and overwhelming force." The numbers were staggering. Ragnarok Prime could fire projectiles at nearly 20% of light speed. Each shot carried the kinetic energy of a small star. The weapon could reload and fire again within minutes, and thanks to quantum guidance systems, the projectiles could change course during flight and appear directly inside enemy ships. It was not just a weapon. It was the end of the possibility of galactic warfare. "Any resistance movements to report?" Tanaka asked Commander Wong. "The Outer Rim Coalition attempted to form an anti-human alliance last month," Wong replied. 3 minor species tried to coordinate a rebellion against the new Concordat. "What happened?" "Ragnarok 7 fired a warning shot past their primary fleet. The projectile missed by exactly 1 kilometer and continued on to vaporize an uninhabited asteroid. The coalition dissolved within hours." Tanaka nodded. That had become the standard response to threats against the new Concordat. Not destruction, but demonstration. A show of force so overwhelming that resistance became unthinkable. "Economic reports?" she asked. Dr. Singh activated the holographic displays showing galactic trade statistics. "Overall prosperity is up 47% since the formation of the new Concordat. Interspecies trade has increased by orders of magnitude. Technological advancement is accelerating exponentially." The numbers told the story of a galaxy transformed. Without the threat of war, species could focus entirely on growth and development. Trade routes that had been dangerous for millennia were now completely safe. Research projects that would have taken centuries were completed in years through cooperative effort. "Most importantly," Dr. Singh continued, "we have eliminated military expenditures across the galaxy. The resources that once went to weapons and armies now go to exploration, science, and infrastructure. It was the ultimate validation of human strategic thinking. By building weapons so powerful that they made warfare impossible, humanity had created the most peaceful and prosperous era in galactic history." "Construction update on the exploration fleet?" Tanaka asked. Commander Wong smiled. "The first ships of the Deep Space Reconnaissance Force will launch next month. Jointly crewed by all 6 species, equipped with the best technology from each empire. This was humanity's next great project. With galactic peace secured, they were turning their attention outward. The Deep Space Fleet would explore beyond the galaxy's edge, searching for new worlds and new challenges." Admiral High Crystal Zarthek interjected. "The Zeph High Council has requested permission to accompany the deep space missions." We wish to contribute our energy expertise to whatever challenges you may encounter. Similar requests came from all the Empire representatives. They were no longer thinking of themselves as subjects of human authority. They were thinking of themselves as partners in human enterprises. Tanaka granted the requests. The exploration fleet would be truly galactic, representing the best of all 6 species working together. After the meeting, she returned to the observation deck. Ragnarok Prime continued to take shape before her eyes, a monument to human engineering and alien cooperation. Dr. Chen joined her at the window. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked. "The path we chose?" Tanaka considered the question. "Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if we had accepted protectorate status. Would we have been happier as subjects rather than rulers?" "Any answer to that?" "Yes," Tanaka replied firmly. "We would not have been human." She gestured toward the construction site where 6 different species worked together on humanity's most ambitious project. "This is what humans do. We do not accept limitations. We do not submit to superior force. We find ways to become the superior force ourselves. And then we use that power to build something better than what came before." A new ship appeared at the edge of the construction zone. It was sleek and beautiful, incorporating design elements from all 6 species. The first vessel of the Deep Space Reconnaissance Force, ready to carry galactic civilization beyond the boundaries of the known universe. "The galaxy is safe," Chen observed. "What challenges are left for humanity to overcome?" Tanaka smiled as she watched the exploration ship begin its departure sequence. "The universe is a big place, Doctor. I am sure we will find something that needs our particular approach to problem solving." On the bridge of the exploration ship, a human captain worked alongside alien crew members preparing for launch. Their mission was simple: find the next impossible challenge and figure out how to overcome it, because that was what humans did. They took problems that seemed unsolvable and built solutions so effective that the problems ceased to exist. The ship engaged its quantum drive and disappeared into the dark between galaxies, carrying the message of the new Concordat to whatever lay beyond. Behind them, Ragnarok Prime continued its silent watch over a galaxy that had learned the most important lesson in human history. When humanity decides to bring peace to the universe, they do not do it gently, they do it permanently.